Friends, this is Praveen. Welcome to the second part of the Some Natural Phenomena. I have earlier uploaded the videos on the Some Natural Phenomena part 1. In that I have covered about the lightning. I recommend you to watch it first. So let's get started with our today's video. So today we are going to learn about the earthquakes. So what is the earthquake? Earthquake is also known as the Tamur quake or the uh, Tamur and the earthquake. What is a earthquake? A earthquake is a sudden shaking of the earth. It lasts for a minute or 2 minutes, which is a type of a small, but it causes a lot of destructions. So to learn more about the earthquake, first we have to learn about the structure of the earth. So now we are going to learn about the internal structure of the earth. So now we are going to learn about the internal structure of the earth. So first, let's take this to be the earth. So earth are divided into the layer. So these the first innermost layer is called the core. It is called the inner core. Inner core. Then it is made up of the second layer, which is called the outer core. It is called the outer core. Then it is made up of them. This is called the mantle. So this is it is further divided into two types depending if it is inner or it is outer. The inner is called the inner layer is called the inner mantle, and the outer is called the outer mantle, and the last on we have is a crust. So the earthquake occurs on the crust, and these crust are of two types. These are terrestrial crust and oceanic crust. These are of two types, that is also called land crust or the, and this is called ocean crust. So these are of two types. So, just like this is a land 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 crust, and this amount of is water. So we know that if we dig a far well, we will get a water. So it is the land crust is floating on the water. This is called the ocean crust. So these earth the crust of the earth is divided into the tectonic plates. So these also called the tectonic plates. These are moving on a water surface. So now we have discussed the internal structure of the earth. So it is made up of the tectonic plates floating on the oceanic crust. So they are floating and they are moving in the random directions. So how does the earthquake occur? So if the two tectonic plates are moving in the same direction, in the earlier times we know that all of these land masses were irregular, but due to time they break into the parts and form the different tectonic plates. So we have about 26 major tectonic plates and 6 minor tectonic plates. So what happens? The two plates are moving. So when they will crush, they forms the earthquake. Sometimes the when they crust they forms an earthquake, or sometimes when they are already touched and they are pushing each other and one slide goes above the another tectonic plate. This creates the uh, earthquake to occur. So let me rewind. When the two tectonic plates comes and collapse against each other, they forms the earthquake. Or when the one tectonic plates move another, they form the earthquake. So examples of these two tectonic plates, or the which I have given, is the uh, Asian plate and the Eurasian plate. So Eurasian plate is here, and Indo-Australian plate is here. They are the Indian is the Indian Indo Australian plate is moving in that direction, and the Eurasian plate is moving in that direction. So they became collapsed and a mountain is formed. These mountains is also known as the Himalayas. These Himalayas range about 2.5 rise about 2.5 centimeter each year, and one of the tallest mountains of the which is also the world's tallest mountain is the Mount Everest, which is formed it is a part of Himalayan formed by the collision between the Indo-Australian plate and the Eurasian plate. So this is how. Oh, so now let's learn some terms about the earthquakes. So now let's see the origin of the earthquake. So this is one plate. This is coming in that direction, and there is another plate. So these are coming in that direction. Let's take these are the two plates, and where they will meet. So they are meeting. They got a collision. So they would then become like that way structure, form a structure, and the center of this is called a focus. A focus is the place where the earthquake occurs, and where the perpendicular point to this focus is above on the ground is called an epicenter. So this is called an epicenter. So epicenter is a place where the point above the surface of the vertically from the focus is called the epicenter. This effects of the coin most at epicenter. So now it was becoming collapsing, and these two plates are called faults. So these are called faults. So these are moving, and these earthquake travels now as a seismic waves, just like it is traveling, and the so it is traveling from here and here. Now the earthquake can be felt about 1,000 kilometers away from the focus also. This focus is usually described and this is a place where there is less human habitat or no human habitat at all. Now we have seen how does a earthquake occurs. Now how we can measure the earthquake. So an instrument called seismograph is in use. So what happens? It has a base that is completely attached to the ground, and a strand which for supporting, and there is a strand and a string with a pen is hold down. So what would happen if there is any shaking? The bob would move, and the pen is attached to the bob, so that with a bob the pen would also move. And what else happens? There is a drum that is contains all the papers, that is called a drum, and it is rolling. So what would happen if it the pen is working, then it is rolling. The the drum is rolling, and the pen is also moving. We create a zigzag marking, which is called the seismograph, and this rolls out, and we can now see the clearly how higher the earthquake is. So I have a question that there if there is an earthquake occurring, and there is a place where the seismograph is where should a seismograph be placed so that it could measure the intensity of it? It could be either placed here also, and somewhere far away from there also. Now this would measure the higher intensity than this intensity. Then which should how should we place? The seismograph is always placed above the focus, that is on the epicenter, where the intensity of the earthquake is the most. It is always placed on the vertical top of the epicenter of the focus. Now let's learn about the now how do we measure it? We have a graph, then there is a scale which is called a Richter scale, which is Richter scale. It has a numbering marking written on it. If the earthquake lies between 1 and somewhere between 2, we this earthquake is so minor that we can literally feel it. So, and if it is between 2 and 5, this is called a normal earthquake, in which the there is a sudden shaking of the earth, but do not cause that much of damage. And if it is between 5 and 8, this is called the damage, where this is called the destroying earthquake, where it could destroy a lot of damages. And the worst case is about between 8 to 10, where this causes the most damage. This causes the most damage. This scale which is used to measure is called a Richter scale. Richter scale. Now let's learn about the some effects of the earthquakes. So effects of the earthquake is causing the first of its light, causing the uh, destruction to the lives, destruction to the properties, then is destruction to the buildings, then causes the lot amount of the death, etc., and leaves the most of the people with millions of people with no, homeless, and they have to struggle to, and government have to give them money to afford that kind of food. So now let's learn about the uh, how we can save ourselves if we find a case in the earthquake. So first, if you are in a home, so what you have to do, try to evacuate as fast as you can. This earthquake can't be predicted before, so you will know when the earthquake is coming. So what you have to simply do, if you have a place, you should try to run to the open area, or run to open area. If it is not possible, you should cover your head with a table, so that any object falling from the above may hit the table, not your head. And you should make a pose like your hand covers your head and ears, and the sensitive parts like eyes and that all, and to avoid hitting your head. And if there is no table, you can hide under a bed, or you take a safety that anything should cover your head. And if you are outside get traveling, you should get away from the vehicles. Do not keep inside the vehicles, and do not take a shelter under a tall tree or a metallic iron pole. You should always get up in a open space. So this is was our video. So now let's learn the what we have learned total on, with the help summary, with the help of mind map. So the name of our chapter is natural natural phenomena. It is we have learned two types in this chapter. These are lightning and the earthquake. So now first let's learn about the lightning. The lightning is cause is what is the lightning? Lightning is known as a electric is an electric spark which is caused due to the charges. Now first, there are the two types of charges, which are positive charge and the negative charge, and the properties of the charges. So there, now we are going to properties. First is attractive property. So now is attractive property. So it is shown by the unlike charge, unlike charges. And the second property is called the repulsive. Repulsive property is shown by the like charges. So it is shown by the like charges. So the charges could be also detected by the, we learn about the electroscope also. So this is an electroscope, and we learn about how to take the precautions to avoid the using the electrical appliances, avoid contact with running water, and avoid using the telephones. These were the some precautions. So we learn about we can tell here safety measures. So now let's talk about the earthquakes. So earthquake, first let's, it is caused by the so first it is caused by the movement of tectonic plates. And the earthquake can be, so this is earthquake, so it could be measured by the seismograph. So it is measured by seismograph, and we learn about the scale that uses this is called the Richter scale. And now then we learn about the some safety measures, like the precautions to be taken, like designing of the appropriate building of the earthquake in the prone areas, and taking the shelter under the table till the shaking stops if driving come out of the car. So this was our chapter, some natural phenomena. Friends, I hope that you enjoy learning with me. So friends, at the last, thanks for watching. Have a nice day.